for our third deck of the day, we've got some Abzan 1/1 counters here. This deck went 5-2 in the Hoaglandia Open this past weekend. And again, if you want to see coverage from that event or find deck lists, you can check out jeffhoagland.com, click Hoaglandia Opens at the top, find a YouTube video and a link to MTG Melee page. The primary payoffs for being in 1/1 counters are Winding Constrictor here and Conclave Mentor. Both of these cards say, hey, if you're going to get a counter, get double those counters. One really interesting piece of innovation I like a lot in this list here is Song of Freylays. This is a 2-mana saga that the first and second chapters say your creatures tap for mana of any color until end of turn. And the third chapter gives everything a counter. So basically your ideal draws with this deck involve playing one of your 1-drops out here. So we have 15 cards you can play on one. Mikaeus is technically a 2 or 3 drop here. And then you play one of these on 1, you play Song on 2, and then you tap your 1-drop to play another 1-drop on 2. And then on turn 3, you have up to 5 mana, and you could put like double extra 1-counter things into play, and then your Song of Freylays is going to pop off and give all of your creatures 2 or 3 1/1 counters on turn 4, and give you this great big attack to hit with. We've got some copies of Tezzeret's Gambit here at the top end, just 3 mana and 2 life, draw 2 cards, push up all the counters on your stuff. Also lets you double those up, so if you proliferate 1 counter and you have these out, you get 2 instead, which is sweet. We've got Mikaeus here, which is kind of sweet. You can put counters on this and then use it to redistribute to all the creatures that you control. And then our deck's pretty low curve anyway, so we have to play some copies of Lurrus here. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games with this and see how this feels here today. Yeah, core idea of this seems very reasonable. Nice, strong, proactive game plan. We are playing some individually weak cards for the sake of synergy, is the one downside. Ozolith, we have Ozolith at home, chat. Like Green-White Company. A Star Pupil and activate Shambler this turn and get set up to do this next turn. Well, I mean, I think your assessment that this card is individually weak is accurate, Slipstream. So that's like I said, the one downside to playing a deck like this is our deck is playing a variety of individually weak cards for the sake of synergy. Most, all of the cards in this deck aren't really constructed playable individually on their own. We're attempting to lean into the synergies they generate with each other in order to come out together with something playable. And we're kind of seeing that here, right? Like pound for pound. Ballista is not banned in Historic. Ballista just doesn't exist on Arena. Pound for pound, my opponent's cards are much better than ours here. I was shocking about an hour. Yeah, about an hour therapy. Little more than that. Depends on how well this deck goes. If this deck has a good set, probably about 90 minutes. We're just getting started with this. If we just get run over, which that was our so far. Hangerback Walker would be a sweet one. It's definitely a good card. Vanishing Verse seems really good here. Driven's a little bit slow. Honestly, Dean's probably a bit slow too. Bring in one Blood Chief's Thirst. Probably don't want to draw two of those. Well, like, I kind of agree that sad mana. I kind of agree that perhaps I guess we're keeping this. That there could be value to banning Heliod and adding Walking Ballista to the format. Because, like, Walking Ballista would provide utility in a variety of decks, whereas Heliod basically sees no play. Like, once upon a time, Heliod saw play in the, what's it called deck? The Life Gain deck? Well, I've played half a game with it, Schnee, so I have no idea. But the Life Gain deck has largely been replaced by Angels at this point. Why is this card such a beating against everything? Snake negates this completely. This is a cute interaction. Collecting company's good. I assume we're dead. Looking to dodge Skyclave Apparition. Knight of Autumn's probably not a good suggestion for my Lurrus deck. It's a 90-minute timer, a new thing? No, not at all. In fact, basically, as long as I've been doing deck submissions, I've usually played next for about 90 minutes. Yes, you can cast Raptor, and then with Raptor's Proliferate trigger on the stack. Yeah, bad decks play for less, good decks play for a little bit more, but like, if you like, go look at my YouTube channel, about 90 minutes is where we hit. Thought about playing the deck in paper to circumvent the Lurrus restriction while cheating. That's the big brain play. How often are we going to like have a board where we could like play a Loxodon and like not have already won would be my other question though too, Lampton. The Delver story from yesterday killed me. Yeah, you know. Details. Okay, I mean, this is one of the deck's best starts, right? You have Pelt Collector into thing that puts extra counter on it, so you get to attack for 3 on turn 2. The Delver story, for those that weren't here yesterday. Once upon a time, at a paper tournament, we gave my buddy a Jeskai Delver deck to go play a side event with. And this was a modern tournament. And he comes up to us after the first round and he goes, I don't understand how this deck ever beats Punishing Fire. We look at him and we tell him, well, you beat it by calling a judge because that card's not legal. In the before times. Speaking of the before times, almost pretty much all of my board game group has been poked twice at this point, so excited. I'm excited to play a board game with an entire group of people that read it above a first grade level. It's gonna be exciting, chat. Maybe I'm supposed to go Song into Constrictor here. Yeah, I actually don't have a VR headset, Bob. It's something I should look into at some point. Take a draw. VR Bob's name checks out. It does. Do I want a Stonecoil Serpent this turn? I don't think so, actually. I think I was going to try an Aspirant onto here. And we just want to get this into play next turn before this fully pops off. Maybe a small mistake on their part there. Oh, maybe they thought I was going to try and put counters on it. But they should definitely just kill it, right? Just deny the counter trigger altogether. I'd rather attack for 5 this turn than put an extra counter on this. I didn't see any Phoenixes, right? Lightning Axe implies that they're on Phoenix, though. Probably want these Deafening Silences, Gambit, and Driven a little bit slow here. Vanishing Verse sounds good. Dean Flies, which is nice for this matchup. I'm going to trim a Macias here. We picked up, there were a couple of, by picked up I mean clicked the button, there were a couple of VR PlayStation games that were free on the PlayStation Plus or whatever it's called. Beat Saber. Beat Saber is not something we can play on stream. So probably not something I'm likely to spend time on. Listen, I spent 2 mythic wildcards on Mikaeus. We're playing Mikaeus today. You want to lead on Pelt Collector here if they wanna kill it. That means it's 1 less shock for Luminarch Aspirant potentially. Oh, the proliferate on here triggers song too, doesn't it? I could proliferate the sagas. That's neat. Xfinity modem. It's so weird to me. It's probably just because of the nerd culture I was raised up in, but it's so weird to me that people rent things like modems and routers. Listen, chat, you're always going to need internet. Do yourself a solid and buy yourself a decent router and a decent modem. I think I want these Blood Chief's Thirst. Like, I got these to block their Dorkos. Requires you to rent their modem. That can't be true. That's gotta be. Yeah, I would push on that issue. It's not true. Yeah, I feel like we've got some monopoly issues when it comes to things, but that sounds like hella illegal. As an internet lawyer, doctor, astronaut, Twitch streamer, mathematician, I am confident that what you are describing cannot be legal. I think I'm just gonna play Song here. DOS Ex Machina, I think I might have missed your resub. We are playing Winding Constrictor, although it's not going particularly well. Was that financial advice? It was not. And my lawyer will tell you the same. I wish I could say this wasn't going like I expected it to go, but It's unfortunately kind of going how I expected it to go. Yeah. Our deck is playing a lot of individually weak cards. That means when our opponent interact with us, sometimes it sucks to be right. Yeah, like, our deck is just a lot of individually weak cards. Yeah, when our opponent interacts with us a little bit, we're left with a bunch of 1/1s. Alright, it'll be big. I'm gonna play, I mean, I don't even know that it's not a ladder deck. Like, it just doesn't feel, it feels, so, I would be surprised if our average linear draw races the other linear decks in the format, and the decks that are interactive feel like they're just kind of picking us apart. These hardened scales. I don't even know that hardened scales solves our issues. I guess hardened scales is harder. Yeah, I had what was arguably one of our best draws that game, and our opponent just like had a piece of removal, so it just like didn't matter. I mean, like, what 3-mana spells do you want to put in our deck? Hey, what's going on, Bob? I would be happy to run back some Chads. Do you have a particular flavor of Chads you would like to see? You want some Chad turns from yesterday? Yeah, that one was really good. Chad turns was lovely. Thanks for the biddies, Bob. You rock. That deck, like, no joke, probably actually has a really good Tainted Pact matchup. Because, like, you have getting to the trials, and you have, like, Pact of Negations and stuff to protect them. And you can, like, randomly Glory Ascend them. A deck at $50 will be played on Wednesday. Let me look. So I'm playing 1, 2, 3... I actually will only have 2 decks in the queue after today, including Bob. So if you made a donation, you would have your deck get in tomorrow. Plan to do 3 decks tomorrow. We'll do Chad turns and Jeskai Terror, and then whatever the third one would be. How badly do I want to lose to a sweeper, chat? I feel like we're pretty close to like making them sweep as is. I think I'm just gonna attack for 4 here and like draw Luris. I think we lose to a sweeper no matter what. I've got 4 power in play, and it's threatening more power, 5 power next turn, so. Yeah, Mardukars was fine last time we played it. I think that one seems super reasonable to try again. Would Chad Turns make the website? Yeah, if Chad Turns has another good set, it's definitely website potential. Next sweet. None of those cards, so like Z-Man, again, this is why the details are so important. None of those cards you just suggested solve any problems that this deck has. Our problem is that our cards are kind of individually weak. And like, you're suggesting we add a bunch of cards to like become this kind of mid-rangey thing. And at that point, we need to add a whole bunch of interaction. And at that point, you just like gut the deck and rebuild it as something else.
This isn't a fight. Let's skip to the good part.
Snakeskin Veil can be a cute card worth considering. The problem with something like Snakeskin Veil, though, is like, go back and look at that Phoenix game and look at how often I could have held up something like Snakeskin Veil. Like, the key turns, like, this game, something like Fight is one, we could have maybe had the opportunity to hold up. But the problem is, a lot of the times in the turns where these decks are playing to the board, you're using all of your mana, and if you're not using all of your mana, you're not approaching it efficiently enough to actually be winning the game. So, like, you're choosing to either, like, play slow and, like, hold up interaction, or just not having... God, that's loud.
Keep up the pace. Let's skip to the good part.
You actually couldn't see it behind the mute icon there, but Declan's over here drilling for oil. Think there's oil up your nose?
No.
You don't think so? There's boogers up your nose? I will bet there are boogers up your nose. Alright, we're in garbage time here at this point, right? Good censor by the mute icon, yep. I mean, someone just mentioned Adanto Vanguard. We do have some Vanguards here, so. We've got that going for us. Mikaeus, we probably don't want to go wide enough in this matchup for this card to be good. This is probably slow. Actually, this is probably bad. We don't want to vomit our whole hand onto the board. The backside of this lets us draw cards when 1/1 counter creatures die, right? Yeah, so the backside, Dina's Shadow is actually probably pretty good here.
How's it going?
I feel like spending a card on Deafening Silence's effect is not a winning proposition for us. Something like Selfless Savior could be okay. It's a 1-drop that lets us curve out nicely. It doesn't have explicit synergy with the rest of our deck, but it could protect our key cards from removal. Yeah, the fact that Lurius lets you play the backside of Dina is nice. My mythic wildcards are not a good investment. I think there's a chance you're correct about that. What am I ramping into in my Luris deck, Rowdy Boy? Yes, Song of Freyla is worth being played for the 3rd chapter. Our deck curves out at 2, basically. I'm supposed to put the counter on here to play around Wrath of God. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Beansy. If you haven't played Dead Guy Ale, I'd recommend giving that a try too. Very, very similar thing. Nah, casting the Stonecoil for 2 is pretty obvious conscript. I think you're caught up in those. It's probably technically correct to sequence the way that you're suggesting there, but ultimately it just doesn't matter. Dark Stevel, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Good morning, Primavari. Our opponent's going on an adventure, chat. It's been 38 months. Be Rich, welcome back. Oh no. Oh no. Don't do it. Don't cast Wrath of God. Have a heart. Just a Teferi. Deal.
I'm not going to sit this one out.
Go tuck yourself, Teferi.
Let's take it back. How long do you want to wait?
Alright, we're on the scoreboard. I'm happy with how we boarded. Let's run it back. Nah, Stonecoil Serpent's great. Texture multicolored has all sorts of relevant stuff in this format. It like blocks Bright Dragon against the various blue-red decks. Teferi can't tuck it in. It attacks past various creatures people are incidentally playing. A lot of good utility. Yeah, dodges Helix and some other miscellaneous removal too. Can't get Prismari commanded. The Teamer's Dragon deck went 3-2, I believe, in the open over the weekend. Remember, you can find all of the deck lists and find out how all of them did by checking out the MTG Melee page that is linked on my website. That Hoaglandia Opens page on the site. I think the Magic Esports forward is no longer exists. A sub put that up. Did we die? I don't know. We're gonna have to try and play through a sweeper though.
The focus and discipline hone your prowess.
The aspirant here means that we get to stop Narset from drawing a second card though, which is nice. How's this deck been? A little middling so far. The blue-red matchup's very hard. They have a pile of shocks. MagicEsports.net still works. Doesn't look like it. It doesn't work here. Okay. Do I have anything that draws cards in my deck? Technically, the backside of Dean does, but that's about it, right? Oh, Tezzeret's Gambit does. Alright, fine, I'll kill the Narset.
I was not prepared.
Related to browser data. Try the old. Maybe you have it cached? Because clearing my cache, it doesn't work. Alright. You have the second Wrath of God. The old Leyline of Sanctity. Sure. Yeah, it plays the sound effect for every permanent they have. So it actually scales up in volume based on how many permanents they have in play. It's a really bad bug they need to fix. Well, shit. Now they get to cast Time Walk. Maybe they misclick and put it back in the bin. To be fair, they fixed the what's it called bug where they have where the audio randomly stops playing. They fixed the audio randomly being too loud on this board as well.
Now, you know what? I'm not.
They have Teferi's protection in hand. That's why they're not casting Wrath of God yet. They must have Teferi's protection in hand, right? Can't imagine you play him without protection. Rough. I don't know those statistics offhand. Good. I'm not like an actuarial chart that just like has a bunch of statistics offhand. I'm gonna give this one more shot, but we might shift over to BioShock a little bit early today. That's fine. We started a little bit early. Play Magic for about 4.5 hours already. My goal, I think, 4.5 to 5 hours of Magic, and then a couple hours variety at the end. Started for people that weren't here. We started BioShock 1 at the beginning of last week. That was pretty fun. So we're gonna be continuing the remaster of that in the afternoons this week. Maybe we're gonna play one more. Tefri protected the server from us, chat. See, I conceded before Tefri phased back in, so our connection has been phased out. You have 53% chance to get 3 lands by turn 4. So you're probably going to be about 65% then, I would wager, because if you're not counting mulligans, that the 47% there includes hands that have no lands in that aren't keepable. Excuse me. Hey, congregation, thank you for the 13 months. Welcome back. Speaking of wholesome quality content, if you didn't check it out, we started today with our Meta Monday report from the historic events over the weekend. If you want to check that out on the YouTubes after we're done with Magic content here in this next match. Nah, I'm not doing a rebuild in the middle, Z-Man. Arena's being kind of mopey. It's just a different deck at that point. Which Bioshock can you like more so far? I think I prefer. I don't think it's super fair to say because I'm only like 4 hours into the original, but I think I prefer Infinite so far. Infinite is a little bit more generous with the resources that it gives you. And I'm not a huge fan of having to like micromanage my inventory in terms of resources in games that I play. That's fair. Yeah, if I've experienced most of the gameplay, I prefer the core gameplay from Infinite. The original Bioshock's still good. Infinite was great. Yeah, I'm not really, like, super into, like, grindy survivalist gameplay. Man, we are gonna run this person over, chat. And see, look, this is, you know, our opponent's just ignoring us this game. And it doesn't look very good for them, right? I'm glad we got to showcase like our raw linear draw at least once here, right? Like, look, this is a goldfish turn 4 kill. Our trouble has been we keep playing against all these pesky people interacting with us. The people interacting with us has not felt particularly good, but that where we just like got to play against a goldfish there was pretty decent for us. We should petition Wizards to ban interaction. Yeah, exactly. See, you get me. Now, post-board, they're gonna get to, like, mulligan for their Claim the Firstborns and stuff, so it's probably get a bit worse. So it's gonna bring in the Blood Chief's Thirst to be able to poke apart their priests and maybe kick to kill Mayhem Devil on occasion. Some of the rest of these sideboard cards seem particularly exciting here. Is there a non-creature Luris deck in the format? Yeah, a lot of the Tainted Pact decks are playing Luris Tobias. Also, like, they might not have as many Claim the Firstborns in their main deck, so, like, mulliganing to it might not necessarily be a play that they can make reasonably. We play Deck in Stone and Boros Pit Rage. I think that's fine. I don't know that I necessarily want to play Deck in Stone in my main deck, but I think having access to it in the 75 seems good. Thanks for the follow, Wall Idiot. All right, are you trading your Woe Strider for my Pelt Collector? Yeah, having an opportunity to, like, get this down and activate it. And, like, you know, in theory, this card with Aspirant is, like, pretty good, because, like, Aspirant puts counters on this every turn. But then, like, in practice, you know, this card's already good on its own. So it kind of feels like playing a bad card to make our card that's already good better. And if you listen very carefully, you can hear the 2 Mythic Wild cards I spent on these crying in the background. Alright, I'm dead, right? Yeah, they do this, and then they sack these 2, and then this dies. Well, you know, maybe the killing priest is important enough that I'm supposed to board in the exile target monoed colored things card. It's probably correct. Does Mikaeus trigger Pelt Collector when it hits the board? It does. Maybe with that in mind, I should have played Mikaeus. No, it would have only been a 1/1, right? All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Alright, attack with Wild Nicottle. Your move, Yugi boy. I like when our opponent does nothing and just lets us attack, chat. It seems like our opponent doing nothing and letting us attack is good for us. What do you think? Let me know. They dead? I think they're just dead on 4 again here, huh? Grow, my pretty, grow! The Pelt Collector flavor text. Looking pretty good there. Alright, so all of these cards have been really bad. Let's cut all of those. Are there... What are we supposed to be doing? Luris hasn't done anything either. Are we supposed to be just like a Loxodon Smiter deck? To just like pump the nut draws out more consistently? Loxodon, Venerated Loxodon, I mean. It could be a collecting company deck. I don't know, like, you're on the Coco train, like, collected company, like, this isn't a company hit, and collected companying into these various 1-mana plays is just, like, not good magic, right? Brass's Lieutenant. Ozolith is not a good card. Lieutenant Brassy's Lieutenant could be okay. You spell that? B-R-B-A-R? It's Basri. Got it. Do I need this tapped land in my aggro deck? Probably not. How many green sources do we have? This is 10, 13 black. I'd probably just play another green-white. What if we did this? Are there any pseudo-interactive... Oh, 2-white Ajani. That's a sweet one. This gives 2... Yeah, I like that. And then... Wellspring is free, because of course it is. Oh, it's not free. I have Ajani. I think Ajani's great. Yeah, it picks idiots back up out of the bin, too. Other than this, my deck doesn't really care about the graveyard, right? This kinda does. Let's just put a bunch of Rest in Peace in the sideboard for Rogues and Phoenix. Harvest. I think I don't want to be spending mana to not add cards to the board. I mean, like, I know it sounds silly when you say it, but like, a lot of the two biggest things I do when making edits to decks on stream is cutting cute bad cards and adding more lands. Ooze is slow and clunky. I'd much rather just have a bomb like Rest in Peace, I think. I think I'm just gonna put... So let's play a match or two with this before we switch over to Bioshock. Raptors, not... I'd argue Loxodon's more aggressive. Loxodon's gonna add a lot more power to the board on average. Do you want Squadron Crab? You usually don't need to do a lot to convince me to play Squadron Crab. Four fours are pretty thick. It's good with Luminarch Aspirant too. Maybe there should be Squadron Crabs in this deck. It adapts into a 5/5 when you have Mentor or Stakeout. I can see that. Growth Chamber Guardian is the name of Squadron Crab for people that weren't playing when that card was standard legal. Well, I cut Song, Sky. Song was consistently shit. Cut black? Why would I want to cut black? I think the splash on the removal spells is good, and Thoughtseize is good, and having 8 of your payoff is good. Yeah, I just think at this point, if you're not playing the 8 payoffs, you should just like play a different deck. At that point, you should probably just be like Green White Company Moose. Like the point is to like have enough density to get your payoffs. So I agree that it isn't free, but like we're getting a pretty big power level increase from it. You shouldn't just add Collected Companies to decks full of creatures, chat. Collected Company is a card that excels when your deck has lots of 3 mana creatures in it, because Coco is good when it's putting 6 mana value worth of stuff into play for 4 mana. So like, putting a Collected Company in my deck full of 1 and 2 mana value things means I'm frequently going to be spending 4 mana to get 3 mana worth of things, or 2 mana worth of things, which is not good. I think Ranger of Eos is worse than our other pieces of top end. Like Ajani, for example. Oh, you know what? I forgot I added Ajani to the deck. This should probably be white. Oh, white. I should have played this as white, so I have white for Ajani. So start chunking in here. Hopefully Honor Guard main deck means there's not a deck with sweepers. Selfless Savior, already looking good. Doesn't it give you pseudo card advantage? Sure, but you're not really playing Collected Company for the card advantage. The tempo it generates is more important in a deck like this than the card advantage. Opponent did a whole lot of nothing and then died. Speaking of Ajani, I'm going to board him in here assuming that my opponent's doing something a little bit grindy. I really don't know what's going on in their deck. I'm just going to board in Ajani and then click submit. When in doubt and you're playing something aggressive like we are, less is more. Our best match was when the opponent doesn't do anything, definitely. The problem with Unbreakable Formation is that it doesn't really do anything on its own. And like, imagine a board where like you only have 2 creatures in play. Loxodon's much better in a situation like that. Loxodon's average case scenario, I think, is much higher than Unbreakable Formation's average case scenario. Want to make sure to play this on white, so we have double white for Ajani. Pretty sure if we don't draw another 1-drop here, we're playing the Stonecoil Serpent on 1, because we want to just put stuff on the board as quickly as possible in the event that we draw Loxodon. And Radiant Lightning Helix to feel bad about it. Witcher 3 is really good, Windmagus. If you plan to play Witcher on the PlayStation, you should wait until they do the graphics update later this year. I'm gonna plan to do a second playthrough when that drops. They're supposed to be giving it an update and supposed to be adding some PS5 features for it. Oh, I forgot FF7R was a PS4 title too. Makes sense. Ajani. Ajani does a lot in this deck. Yeah, I've got a copy of Cyberpunk 2. I figure by the time the PS5 version of Cyberpunk releases, maybe it'll be functional. My understanding is, what's it called? The company, the what's it called company isn't responsible for CDPR, or whatever that company is, isn't doing the Witcher 3 update. They subbed it out to the game that did their Switch port. Yeah, Project Red. Invictius, thank you for the 5 months. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around.
You are capable of more than you assume.
And Johnny, it's like picking this game up and carrying it on his strong back here. Honestly, more of this card in the main deck might be good. This card kind of does a little bit everything we want, huh? And like this is a good example of like the type of tool to look for when you're deck building, right? Like we were playing this deck to start, and our conclusion was it felt really bad when we were getting picked apart. And this card's really good against people that are killing all of your stuff. And then it's also good against, it's also good with your linear draws, because like if you have any of your cards that like give extra counters on things, it gives 4 power for a +1, which is like pretty sick. So it helps our linear plan, but then also works towards solving one of our issues. That's a punish for not making this bigger. I wanted to play her on Heartless Act on all of my things.
You should be seeing yourself what I see.
That's what they're doing with the Tocatli Honor Guards. They're playing Clackbridge Troll. It's normal. Grow, my goats, grow! Small goats. Alright, I want to play one more match with 4 Ajani in my deck. Of course, past Jeff had already crafted 4 Ajani. God bless. $20 lands enough with 4 4-drops. Yeah, it might be late. Yeah, I can see Ajani being good in Dead Gael. No joke, it's not a card that I'd considered. What drops are we on? I don't have enough time in the day to play Brawl to get a Faithless Looting. Do they let me spend money on the Faithless Looting? If they let me spend money on it, I might spend money on it. Oh, hey, it's float mana. So they're playing Mardu vehicles. Beep, beep. Nah, four color mutate's fine, Beck, if you want to submit that one. I'm good. Good to take that. Down for the mutation. It's been a hot second since we played that one. It did not, McNugget. We just got, like, we were either, like, every time we had song, we were in one of two situations. We either, like, had gotten picked apart and had no board left to do anything with it, or we were playing a matchup where we didn't want to use it because they were going to destroy our board. Okay. Light cut for the extra land. The fourth Shambler, I think. Well, I mean, hey, thanks for the biddies, Beck. Yeah, it should be up tomorrow. It'll be my third deck in the queue. It's better than missing, I suppose. I get to activate Shambler this turn. All right, them stumbling could be the breath of air we need.
It is good to see you, my friend. Strength is born of struggle.
Yeah, Mutate was like the old hotness, right? It was a HA4 toy. And then we got HA3 toys, or we got Strixhaven toys. They fell off a little bit. Ooh, I guess we're dead to Fatal Push here, huh? Second motorist Fatal Push kills us. So they get to push the Constrictor and then crack us for exactly 8. Maybe I shouldn't have attacked with both. Close. Really fortunate that they stumbled as hard as they did there. Heartless Act sounds great. What do I want to trim? They're kind of interactive, and it can be tough to block. I think I want to just trim some of my top end here. Like, Ajani's fine, but I probably don't want to draw all of them. Man, this does really sound good in Dead Guy Ale, doesn't it? It brings back Knight. It brings back Glint Sleeve Siphoner. Yeah, I'm gonna have to try this one in Dead Guy at some point. Seems sweet. How long has this deck been on for? It's probably our last match, Nugget. Gonna be doing Magic till about 1 o'clock most days, and it's 5 till. So we started almost card for card with your list from the event. Escape Elspeth. I don't think that one sounds very good. That one doesn't really generate card advantage. I think I've liked what's his name? What's the Aether thing that draws a card off your opponent's deck? Gonti. I've liked Gonti. Gonti's sweet in that slot. Rankle makes you a little bit more aggressive though, which is nice in a lot of spots. Selfless Savior has felt sweet so far. Like we really want to keep these idiots alive, and getting to do curves like this or like protection into idiot we want to protect has felt good. Just like make sure opponent need another removal spell basically. This card scrying is so random. It's just like, and for my next trick. Alright, am I Heartless Acting this turn? Rion Master, thank you for the quarter view. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I think I just want a Constrictor. I think it's just Snake into Shambler, attack you for 3, and then we can Heartless Act the next turn. Playing this as opposed to shocking to hold this up makes our removal less obvious too, which is nice. Is your way to choose your background, MTGA? Oh, they misclicked here. There is not. Might honestly be right to shock and play the Shambler here too. Probably supposed to do that. I got here. That's pretty good. This game. I forgot they pull up post board. Maybe I am supposed to. Maybe I am supposed to leave all 4 Ajani's in. I probably am, assuming that they're going to Doomscars. If we have a game 3, I'm gonna pull the 4th Ajani back in. Andrika, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Alright, 2-turn clock. It might have been wrong to play this. It plays into another Doomscar. Yeah, I'm probably just supposed to attack for 3 and then play this out for lethal the following turn. Put the counters on the Mentor to gain some more life. If my opponent had a piece of spot removal instead of a sweeper, that would have been worse though. So I chose to play around the spot removal. Thick snake, chat. Thick snake. Oh, float. Rough. Do we only play a 14-card sideboard? Apparently we're playing with a 14-card sideboard. I'll throw an extra Thoughtseize in there. Anywho, I kind of like where we ended up at. I don't know. I think after playing a couple of games with Ajani and Selfless Savior, I don't know that I would write the archetype off completely. I do know I wasn't a huge fan of where we started. The interactive decks just like felt like we got completely picked apart in games that weren't close. Our average power level of our cards just a little bit too individually weak. Having Selfless Savior here to protect our cards that were built around the most felt really excellent in the couple of games we got to try that in. And Ajani's just a good example of the way you want to approach synergy deck building in general. This is a card that's like great with our enablers, but it's also just like a decent card without them too. And honestly, I think I'd like to try an even little bit bigger build than what this was doing. Swarm Shambler was like pretty in a lot of the games that we played, and I like the idea of Guardian a little bit more, Growth Chamber Guardian, in terms of being another kind of mid-rangey threat that works well with a lot of what's going on here. So I feel like I would be inclined to kind of go up on threats like that, and maybe cut these, and then maybe cut a couple of these and go up even another land tier. And maybe you get rid of the Loxodons altogether and play a little bit of interaction in your main deck too. I think that could be fine. Get to like 22 or 23 lands. Sparring Lesson. I don't know what that card does. Oh, is it a white card? It's probably a white card. No? Enters the battlefield, learn. Oh, Sparring Regimen. When it enters the battlefield, learn. When you attack, put a 1/1 counter on target attacking creature and untap it. Huh. I don't know. I'd have to look at this. Might be something worth considering. I've been impressed with like learn kind of reads draw card. Like figuring out like are there things worth learning for? Would be the question, but it is something that's kind of neat here. Ajani definitely felt good though. I feel like I want something else that's a little bit interactive in the main deck. So I don't know exactly what I want, like maybe a couple of Heartless Acts or something like that to start. And then just round out one more mana in the mana base. And maybe at this point when we're getting higher lands, you could add some Triumphs in, but another fast land's probably fine too. So I think something that looks a little bit like this is what I'm gonna put in the video description. This more mid-rangey approach definitely felt like where I'd rather be. Still some good aggressive draws on the back of these, but also had that kind of grindy aspect that this can offer while still being something that can allow you to punch through for big chunks of damage with its +1. Loxodon Spider might also be worth playing still too though, because that card is kind of okay with this. To my surprise, Jeff, is that I love this card. I love this card. All right. Let's play some BioShock.